guys, it's Marina from Tech News with another programming tutorial, and today we're gonna learn how to deploy full-stack MERN applications to Heroku completely for free, and is not even so complicated. But I had some issues with deployment. I tried Amazon Web Services, I tried Netlify, I was going to try Firebase today, but I got I got lucky with the solution and successfully deployed it to Heroku. So bear with me, it's gonna be a lengthy tutorial because we're gonna build a simple MERN app from complete scratch, so you understand everything that is happening. And without further ado, subscribe to my channel and let's go! Hi guys, I'm so excited to see you here. Let me see. Yeah, because I've been coding all day, I kind of have pain in my eyes. So let's start, as I said, from scratch, okay? And first thing first, let's go to our terminal, cd into our desktop, and create a new directory, which I will call just my MERN app. Okay, now cd into my MERN app, and here we will create our React. Create a React app. Okay, and npx create React app that we will call React dash. What's up with me? That we will call client. Okay. I can do it without the glasses, come on, I'm not so old. While it is creating, let's open up another window. Oh, it's much better like this, no? Open up another window, and in our root directory, let's create our server file. Okay, now we can go to our VS Code and open up this new folder that we just created, my MERN app. Okay, and it's empty for now. Let's go back to our terminal, and in our root folder we're gonna initiate the npm with all the default settings for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and now we're gonna install some packages. For this tutorial, we're gonna need Express, Mongoose, Body Parser, and Course. Hit Enter. Okay, all installed. Let's just our React app is created. Let's just go to our server.js file and start configuring the server. Okay, as usual, constant express equal require express, and we have our app that will be using express, and then we have our body parser that requires body parser package, and we have our course. Here I will also create a path package that will require path, and we don't need to install it, but apparently it's quite useful. Now let's specify that app is using body parser .json. Okay, app.use course. Okay, here we will have our mongoose connected, and here we'll have our API route, and here we'll just app.listen at port with a function that will just log that express is running. And let's create our port constant here that will set to process.env.port, or let's say, I don't know, 6000. Okay, now just to check if it's working, let's send something to our express app.get at the root route function of request and response. I'm not doing it with the arrow functions because they're so confusing for me and I don't like the way they look. So response.send, express is here. Save, go back to our terminal, and we can node mon run server.js file. Okay. Localhost, we set 6000. Might be temporary down. Why? It's running. What's up? Did we save everything? That is very strange. Maybe let's do 5000. Doesn't matter really. Express is here. Maybe I don't know everything about ports and you're not allowed to use port 6000, but I don't know what was the problem. Anyway, let's change it to 5000 and our express is working. So what's up with our React application? Okay, it's created. Let's cd into our client. I will also make it bigger. Oh my gosh, what's happening? I just want to increase the font size. We are in our client and we can run npm start. Just to see that our React application starts correctly. And it starts on port 3000. And here is our React app. Okay, so now, as I said, it's going to be a very, very simple application where we will have just the ability to extract from the mongoose data, from the MongoDB atlas to our React interface, and we will be able to add things to our database and to delete them from the database. So basically almost all the CRUD operations. But first let's connect our mongoose, right? Our database. Here I have MongoDB Atlas, and these are my databases. I'm going to be using this movies database. If you don't know how to create databases and clusters in MongoDB, I have another tutorial on this, link in the description below. So as I said, I'm going to be using this movies database. As you can see, currently we have just one collection, movies, and it has only two movies, The Incredible Hulk and The Avengers. Yes, I'm a Marvel fan. And it has a few fields, just title, genre, and year. Genre. Do I pronounce it correctly? I hope so. It's not my native language, English. Anyway, so let's keep that in mind and let's connect this database with our application. I go back to the clusters. Click connect application, copy this link, and go back to our server.js file. So here we specify mongoose.connect. Why? It's strange. Let's just change that. Mongoose.connect, and here will be our URI. Here I want just to change two things. The DB name, as we said, is movies DB, as it is called in our MongoDB Atlas, and the password I'm using for my DB account is this one. Okay, so we connected our MongoDB Atlas. Now let's just create our data schema and model to be used in this application. So data schema, we will call it movie schema. That will be just an object where we specify which fields it has. It has a title, that is a string. It has a genre, that is also a string, and it has a year, that is also will be also a string. Okay. So once again, if we go to our collections and to our movies database, to movies collection, you see we have title, genre, and year. So basically we are just recreating the schema here. And now for our model, we will use the name movie. That will be a mongoose.model, and it will be referred to as movie. And it will be using movie schema. Okay, so now at our let's create our first route that will just take this model and extract all the movies from the database. Okay, so let's call this route /movies. So just to avoid confusion, it means the route will be accessing from the front end will be like HTTP localhost 5000/movies. But in order not to type that, we're gonna just create a proxy in our client folder. So in our clients folder, let's go to package.json and just specify the proxy right away. Proxy key HTTP localhost 5000. Okay, so now we can access this address from our client folder just without typing anything here, just by typing like this /movies. Okay, and here we want to send all the movies, so we need to use our movie model and find all, and after we find all the movies, we have access to the movies that we just found. We want to send a JSON, a data with all these movies, and now we want to extract this data in our front end. So we go back to our client folder, to our source files. Let's not change anything of the default and go straight to app.js, and we will do all the code here without thinking about components and stuff. I will just remove everything in between the main divs, and here we will fetch the data from our backend. Now we have the proxy, and we want to fetch the data. For this, we're gonna import a couple of methods from React. That the first one is called useState, and the second one is useEffects from React. Okay, so I hope you're already familiar with the states. This is not a hooks tutorial, so I'm gonna skip that part, and let's just use useState method to create our movies data and our function setMovies that we will use to manipulate this data. Use state, and the initial state will be an array of objects, and here we will eventually receive our movies from our database. So they will have also a title that will be initially empty, genre that will be initially empty, and the year that will also be empty. Okay, and now we can use effect to fetch this data. It's not necessary, I think, to use effect, but it's just how I used to do this. Here we have an anonymous function, and here we can fetch data from where? From our localhost blah blah blah, so from our proxy, and after all this we have /movies. Okay, and then we receive some response, and we can check that if response is okay, we will return this response in JSON format. Okay, and after that we take this JSON response and we set our movies to be equal to this JSON response. So set movies JSON response. Okay, now let's see if it works. Actually, let's map through the movies. So supposedly our movies are now filled with the movie data from our database, and we can map through them. And for every mapped movie, we want to return, let's say, just h1, okay? That will contain just a movie.name, or we don't have name, movie.title. Save it and go back to our React app and see what we have here. Come on, don't let me down. Maybe we need to restart the npm actually, because we specified a new proxy. Let's just do that. npm start. Come on, yay! So you see, we received this already from our MongoDB atlas, and we want also to return a div, and inside this div we will have a movie title, and then we will have a paragraph with movie.genre, and we want to have a paragraph, oops, what did I do, with movie.year. Okay, so okay, but we also want later to be able to delete the movie, so I'm going to return also a button that says delete. Okay, so the first route is finished. Now let's create another route that will be like adding the movie to the database. For this we will return a form. Let's call it add movie, and here we will have a form inside which we'll have an input. Actually, we will have 3 inputs for the title, genre, and year, and we will have a button that will say add movie. Okay, I don't care about the styling now, just to keep it as much simple as possible. Let's just create the functionality and deploy it. Okay. But we do need to specify the name and the value of each input. So in this case, the name will be title. Here we'll specify the name as genre, and this will be the name of year. This is required for us to be able to parse from the body request in our server. Okay, and here we'll also have a function that when we type something in the input, we will track what we type. So we track the changes. It's an onChange method, onChange attribute that will activate the function handle change, and it will be the same function for every other input. Okay, let's create this function. Function handle change will take an event, and for this function I don't want to change these movies that I received from the backend, so let's create another state for a movie. Okay, and set movie singular, and it will not be an array, so it will be just an object where we also have a title that is empty initially, we have a genre that is initially empty, and a year. And now we can use this state to handle change. So every time we change our type something in the inputs, it goes here. So basically what we can do here, this is the event, and event has two, let's say, event has 2 pieces of data that we pass here. It will be the name and the value. Okay, the value in this case will be whatever we typed here and set to be equal to the movie key. So the first one will be movie.title. Movie.title. The second one will be movie.genre, and the third one will be movie.year. And so now here we can deconstruct our event to have a name and a value, and it will be deconstructing the event.target. So now we can use this name and value to set our movie to set new state for our movie. How do we do that? we say set movie equal set movie singular equal to whatever is our previous input, and then we want to return an object because the movie is an object where we will have all our previous inputs and what is changed about this object. So I'm gonna use the dynamic variable here. We will set the name to value. So if our name, if our value is changing, how do I explain this? normal words. Okay, it doesn't matter. So anyway, if you do like this, it will only change the key that is changing here. Okay, we are done with that. And let's also create this function for the button on click that will activate handle. Okay, let's call it add movie. Okay, and it will not be just a function without props. So we're gonna pass here the ID of the movie. So no, sorry, it's for delete. What am I talking about? Add movie will just be a simple function, add movie, that will create here function add movie, but it will also take an event and it will prevent event default behavior. Let's also log something like movie added, and we want to send our movie to the database. For this we need axios. Did we install axios? Do you remember? Dependencies. We did not install axios. So okay, let's open up our terminal here, cd into client, and from client folder we're gonna install axios. Okay, it's installing. While it's installing, let's just import it here. And we can do here, when we click add movie button, we take this axios method post and we specify where do we want to post. So our proxy plus slash, let's say new movie. Okay, and we want to pass this new movie as a variable. So we need to create this variable. Let's call it a new movie. Okay, and that's it. Basically here we'll create our new movie variable that will be an object with a title, genre, and year. And if you guess, this will come from our state. So our title will be movie.title, etc. So let's specify it here, movie.title, movie.genre, and movie.year. So now we are posting to our backend this object new movie. So let's go back to our, why is it so red? What's up? What did it do wrong? Nothing, it's perfect. Okay. Okay, I see now. Should be 3 dots. Okay, so now let's figure out this new movie route in our server.js file. Can I move myself here? Server.js file, and we create a new route. This will be delete movie. Oh wait, sorry, add movie. Okay, so app dot, it will be a post method, and at slash new movie, as we said in the front end, they should match basically, and it will be also a function of request and response. And here we can deconstruct the object that we just sent from the front end, like we can create the title that will be parsing the body request. So we specify request.body.title. Then we'll have a genre that will be request.body.genre. I'm sure there are easier way to do this, but honestly, for me, is much more clear what's happening when I do it like this. And we'll have our year constant that will be parsing the body and take out the year attribute. Attribute. Some problems with my with my voice today. Anyway, and from this we can create a new movie that will be using our model. And when we create a new movie, we should specify new movie, and this refers to our model. That will be an object with a title that comes from here. We have genre and genre. I'm not sure even if I spelled it correctly. And year. Okay, so when we click that button, add movie, we are making a post request to this route and passing this new movie, and we are reconstructing this movie here, and we take this new movie and we save it in our model. Okay, so let's try that. Let me save it here, go back to our React app, and let's test it. Test. Add movie. Okay, movie added, but there was no alert because I didn't specify alert. I specified console log. Okay, let's try it again. I like also, what do you like? I like also X-Men sci-fi. I don't remember which year, but something like this maybe. Movie added. Okay, and now it's also in our database. If we go to MongoDB Atlas and refresh, we're gonna have all these movies here, X-Men. So cool. Now let's just implement the last route, delete, and then we're gonna switch to deployment. Okay, I'm also cooking here in parallel, so I will switch off also my oven. 1 second. See, I'm wearing my shirt. Yeah, I did it on Teespring, so if you want to buy it, there is a link in the description. Anyway, let's figure out the axios.delete methods. Yeah. Where we want to activate delete, when we press this button. So on click, we activate a function that will be called delete movie. And this function will take an ID that comes from the Mongo database. And the Mongo database ID is starting with a lodash ID. And it's not just lodash ID. We need to specify that it comes from the movie property. So movie dot lodash ID. And we cannot do inline functions like this. So for it to work, we need to specify the parentheses and the arrow function. So now we can create this function here, delete movie, that takes ID, and here we can call it whatever we want, and it will do axios.delete. At which route? At the route, let's say /delete and /ID, because ID will be like a part of URL. So you can do it with the backticks, with the backticks, but for me it's simpler just to add ID here. Okay, and we want also to alert the user that movie deleted. So now this is basically all we have to do from our front end, and now let's figure out this API endpoint in our server. So remember, /delete/ plus ID. So in our server, I create app.delete route, and it will be /delete/ and it will be a dynamic part of URL that you specify like this with a colon, etc. And as usual, will be a function of request and response where we have access. We can reconstruct this ID. Is not a body request now, it's a part of a request parameters. So we specify rec.params.id, and now we can take our movie model again and find by ID and delete, where the model ID equals to this ID. So when they match, we will delete this item. And then we have also access to an error function. It's not, I think it's not necessary, but I'm just gonna specify this, that if there are no errors, we will log movie deleted, but else we're gonna log the error. So now we finished with this route. I think it should work. Let's test it. Let's delete this. Delete. Okay. And yes, it's deleted. So our application is now complete. We have different routes. Now let's go to the boring part of deploying it. Okay, so for deployment, I will just look at my notes a bit. Okay. First things first, let's close it here. Oh, it's working, we know this. Let's just open up our terminal. Let's stop everything. Okay, clear. And first, what we want to do, we want to delete from our client the git ignore file, because we will not need it. We will not deploy all these node modules. We will be just sending the static files when we build in production. So let's delete. And when we go to our terminal, we are in the client folder. We want to make this folder not a Git repository. So we specify rm rf.git. Okay, so now if we check the Git status, it should not, yes, not a Git repository. Okay, cool. So let's cd out of here and let's create a git ignore file in our root directory. So touch.gitignore, here it is, and here I'll specify just node modules. Okay, now let's create also in the same directory our proc file, and in our proc file we're gonna specify web node server.js. This is the name of our server file. Save. Now here we need to add a little script that I will explain to you. We have to add a little script that goes like this, that if basically if we are in production, we want to use express static method. Okay, so when we move to production, we will build all our React application into static files, and basically we want our backend to use the static files instead. So let's just specify that if the process.env.node-env is equal to production, then we want to app.use express static, and it will be using the static folders that are located in our client. Will be located, we haven't built it yet, in client build. When we go to production, this folder will be built when we run npm run build. Okay, so, and we want app.get everything, and here we'll have a function as usual, request response, and it will send a file, and this file is index.html that is in our client folder, but when we build, it will be located in our client build folder. So here we can use our path package that we required here and specify path.resolve, and here we provide the path to our index.html static file. So we specify the current directory, dir name, then we go to the client, right? Then we go to the build folder and we send the file that is called index.html. So basically, this is all we need in this server.js file. Okay. Now let's work a bit on our scripts. First of all, let's go to our root directory package.json file, and we'll write another script that is called Heroku post build. Okay, just specify like this: Heroku -post build. Oops. And here we will have something like that looks kind of strange to me, but we need to specify it. npm config production equals false, and then we want to npm install dependencies for our client, and that's why we specify --prefix.client, so it knows that we want these dependencies for our client side. I think this is it. What else do we need? Let me see. Okay, I think we are ready to deploy. Let's go to our terminal. We are in the root folder, okay? So let's just check the git status. It's not a git repository, so let's initiate and check the git status, okay? Let's add, before adding everything, let's create our Heroku application, because we need to change our proxy address, no? Let's type Heroku login, confirm, log in. Now we are logged in and we can create Heroku create, and this we need to copy because this will be the address of our new proxy. Let's go back to our client package.json. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. And let's change the proxy from our local host to Heroku address. Okay. What else? Now that we have a Heroku app created, if we go to Heroku, we have all our apps here, and this is a new one that we just created. Let's go to deploy and just follow the steps here. We already logged in, git init, and we need to add this remote address. Okay, what do we have here? Oops. What do we have here? Let's add everything, okay? And commit with the message first commit. Okay, now our status should be clean and we should be ready to push to Heroku. So let's just say, before pushing, it's very important, we need to build our static folder in the client side. So let's go to our client, cd client, and we're gonna run this command, npm run build. I know some badass developers are making some fancy scripts for this, but I tried them, it didn't work for me, and honestly, I prefer to do it manually. So, okay. What? We have built our static folders. You can see them now here in the client, this folder built. Now we can cd out of the client. Check again the git status, because I think, yes, we need to do it again. Git add, to add this build folder, git commit, add a static client folder. And if we check the status is clean, now we can just push, I guess. So git push Heroku master. Boom. And now I'm gonna pray to all my gods. And then if it's successful, I'm gonna end this tutorial and I'm gonna have such a nice homemade dinner. It's actually quite simple, just some meat and some pasta, but I like it just like my mom used to do. I'm not cutting any part of the video just for you to see if we are successful or not. While we are waiting, do you think, guys, that I should make some music on the background during the tutorial itself? Because I usually do music in the intro part and the outro part, but not during the tutorial. So, any suggestions? I think would be nice, but I don't want to disturb you, because when I'm watching tutorials, I am quite distracted by the music. Oh wow, I'm excellent at the small talk, no? Bill succeeded, compressing. I see that. I see what's happening. Don't let me down, I tell ya. Done. Oh, please, please, please. It's not the end. I know it's successful, but sometimes it doesn't work. Let's just go to our Heroku and open our application. And if everything is working, yay, it's working. Let's just test. Let's delete this X-Men here. Movie deleted. Okay, deleted from the database. And let's add another great movie. Comes to mind, maybe something like, I like Flash series, no? It's also sci-fi, and I don't remember the year, so I'm gonna say 2014, add a movie added, and ta-da! I hope you enjoyed it and it wasn't too long. Please, if you have any questions, any comments, I'll be so happy to help you. I feel so excited to make tutorials that somebody will find useful and that somebody actually needs, so write me in the comments. Bye-bye! So guys, thank you for watching. I'm so excited. I was trying to publish this tutorial for quite some time now. It's been over 1 week that I published the tutorial. And if you liked, please give me a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.